Hello and welcome to today's Daily Rift. I'm Stormo, and since the last time we did a Rift, there have been some changes, so you're probably wondering why I'm showing you town. It's because I put some time in over the weekend, and I got some items. I mostly did this because at the end of the last video, you probably saw I got a Spines of Seething Hatred. This was at the end of yesterday's video, and I thought, well, you know what? I'll try building a chakram build around that, and I did. And then I went to test it out, and then this dropped. Yes, that's an Ancient Wind Force. Not a great bow in and of itself, but it was a better roll than the Atreyu I was using, so I've switched over to it for now. My hope is that I get another Atreyu soon. The other thing I got, Ancient Marauder's Gloves, which you'll notice has given me the 4-piece Marauder's set. So that means you'll see lots of sentries shooting lots of chakrams and lots of elemental arrows. I also got an Ancient Orgild Search. I actually crafted this primarily so that I could use one of the other things I got, which was Marauder's Visage. So that's most of the loot I've got. I still haven't decided if that's the best gem for that, but 23% life seems to be a pretty good choice at this point. I also got the Marauder's Treads. I already had a set of Marauder's Treads, but these are a slightly better roll than the ones I had. So that's that. And I picked up a Witching Hour as well. But see, those weren't the only ancient items I got. I actually got a couple of others as well. I got 2 ancient rings, one of which is now equipped on my follower, who's looking really good with the stuff she's picked up. So, anyway, after doing that, I gained a couple of Paragon levels. I think I was 255 at the end of the video yesterday. I'm now 264. So I did put a fair bit of time in on this yesterday. So anyway, with all that said, I'll grab a Rift Key out of my endless supply of them, and we will go and do a Rift. So, here we go. Okay. So I'm pretty happy with what I've picked up, and you're about to see this sort of updated build. You also notice I've started using Volt. So you can see the sentries are throwing out elemental arrows and chakrams, depending on which I'm firing. So the way the 4-piece Marauder's bonus works is that it causes sentries to fire off your... hatred spenders whenever you do. The old bonus just calls them to use hatred spenders as your currently equipped hatred spender as their default firing rate. But that's not how they work anymore. So now they shoot when you're spending hatred. Because I have 2 hatred spenders equipped, even though Chakram isn't actually spending hatred, it's a generator. For the purposes of the set bonus, it's still considered a spender. So I'm still able... Oh wow. I'm still able to use it as a spender. The other thing you might notice if you look in the top right corner of the screen here is that we are now running Torment 6. The upgrades were enough that I was able to fairly easily do bounties, at least, on Torment 6. I did a Rift as well. What triggered me over to deciding to go up to Torment 6, I tried Torment 5 briefly as well, but what really triggered me to go up to Torment 6 was the fact that I did a greater Rift that was, I think it was 22, and I crushed it. I completed it in about 6.5 minutes, and that got me a level 28 greater Rift Key, which I didn't successfully complete, but I did complete without too much trouble. It was just slow, because level 28 greater Rifts have a lot of HP on all the enemies, so that was a really nice feature. I have found that going for Volt is a little bit nicer than using Smokescreen, which is what I had been using. The heal on Smokescreen's nice, but the instant get out of danger ability that Volt gives me is a lot better. Unfortunately, Volt doesn't let you jump over the walls that Waller type enemies produce, which has always bugged me about Volt. It should be able to do that. On the other hand, Chakram can shoot over those walls, so it's a pool of reflection. There we go. And did I hear the sound of a treasure goblin? I did. Where's the lever for this? There's a lever. Where is it? Ah, there it is. So, I'm going to vault through all these enemies and try and get that treasure goblin who's still there. There he is. So that's a odious collector. That's the one that has like heaps of materials, isn't it? Yeah, he's dropping all those materials all over the place. So you can see the major chakram spam that I'm going on there. So Blizzard actually hotfixed the way those drops work from odious collector type goblins over the weekend as well. What they changed primarily was the amount of stacks that they drop. Odious collectors used to drop like heaps and heaps of stacks. So they drop fewer stacks, which means you don't have to click on them as much now. The actual amount of stuff you get from them is about the same, but you're not having to click as much to pick it up, is my understanding of that particular hotfix. Ow, ow, ow. Oh, I didn't die. Okay. Not having smokescreen means that sometimes I spam vault instead of doing what I want to do, which is heal myself. So, because of course I had healing vapors on my smokescreen. So, with these changes, there's a couple of things that I haven't got perfect yet. One of them is using this particular quiver over the rucksack, and it's probable that the rucksack would give me better DPS, particularly with 4-piece marauders, because I can get 5 sentries up, and that would let me run. You basically have 5 of these sentries shooting chakrams and elemental arrows, and that's a lot more damage. Wow, this is nasty. That's a lot more damage than I would otherwise have. However, the roll on this particular quiver was better enough. I know that's a horrible construction, but it makes sense for what I'm talking about. The roll was better enough to, I think, outweigh that at the moment. If I get a better rolled rucksack, I will definitely use it instead. But it's basically the same case as with the Wind Force bow, in the sense that it's such a better roll than what I had previously that it's worth using regardless, even if it's not a particularly great item of itself. So, and you'll notice that we're not having too much trouble. I have died once, and almost died once. We're not having too much trouble on Torment 6. I feel really good about myself doing Torment 6 now. I haven't had many problems going through. I still feel I'm at the lower end of being able to clear Torment 6. Like, I don't think I'd have too much trouble doing adventure mode and stuff like that. And like I said, I was able to fairly easily clear a Greater Rift that was... I think Greater Rift 24 or 25 is about what... is about equivalent to Torment 6 difficulty. And I was able to fairly easily clear a Rift of around that difficulty, so... So yeah, that bodes well for the future. I'm pretty happy with this build. I know it's probably not the best build. I could probably... I'm not sure what I should be using on my right mouse button at this point. I know a lot of builds use things like Cluster Arrow, or I believe one of the big ones at the moment is Multi-Shot, which fires these huge spreads and works incredibly well with the 4-piece Marauder bonus. I'm not the biggest fan of either of those abilities, primarily because of how much hatred they cost, and the fact that I don't have... Using Chakram as my primary basically means that I don't have the 7 hatred per shot that I had before. But Chakram does so much damage on its own that it's a lot better than using... what was it I was using before? Evasive Fire with the Focus Ring. So, okay, go up this way. Looks like we're getting the Act 3 dungeon layout here, so that's cool. But you can see how crazy the Chakram firing gets when you get a few sentries up. And you see how crazy the damage is, even now. So, you would think, given I've spent most of the weekend actually doing it right, that I would be getting marked for death up on these characters a lot easier than I am. I was perfect with that through the time I was spending playing this over the weekend, but all of a sudden, not so much. So, that's kind of annoying. Anyway. Is there a goblin in there? No. No, because it'd be on the mini-map. Let's get that channeling pylon. Let's heal ourselves. Let's kill what we can. Channeling pylon's great. Possibly in its current state better than the Conduit Pylon, actually. Actually, no, is it the Power Pylon? The one that gives you 400% damage? That's the really good one to get these days. Especially if you're shooting chakrams everywhere, because it does so much damage. The great thing about chakrams is they shoot through walls. And I'm using chakram with the Serpentine rune, which gives it this sort of slow loping curve that seems to kind of home in on nearby targets. Like, not a perfect homing shot, but it does tend to follow a curve that's close to them, I'm finding. You know what I should use more? My companion active ability. That's what I should really use more. So, the reason I talk about the secondary, the right mouse button skill, is that right now my primary left mouse button skill is actually doing more damage than my right mouse button skill. And on the other hand, it does have a greater AoE effect, but I'm not sure whether the sentries sort of outweigh that or not. So, we'll see how that goes. For the moment, I'm just liking the way this is set up. I've tried using Cluster Arrow, I've tried using Multi-Shot. Cluster Arrow still bugs me because of how much hatred it costs to use. You can't... You can fire it off once or twice every so often, and then you have to wait. Also, the fact that Cluster Arrow doesn't seem to do as much damage as Chakram does on its own. Chakram does 500% weapon damage, which is amazing. In fact, it's doing more weapon damage than Elemental Arrow. So, I need to think about what to do with the secondary, whether I just persist with Elemental Arrow, which is working fine for me at the moment. But I suspect if I'm going to start doing Greater Rifts and going further up than Greater Rift level 28, I might want to start thinking about more advanced techniques on that second mouse button. Anyway, we're getting close to the end of this rift today. But as you can see, Torment 6 is working out really well. And of course, the benefits of Torment 6, of course, are better gold and magic find, item find. So, I'm pretty happy with that as well. Oh, wow, look at that. So, there's an enemy there with the missile dampening property. And as you can see, those chakrams are getting slowed down, because what that's doing is causing those chakrams to move really slowly through him and hit him a lot. So, so I'm pretty happy with that as well. Okay. So I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot with this character now. I might start using other characters for these videos at a later stage. Probably not any characters that are below level 70, just because I don't like using rift keys on characters that are still leveling up. We have a waller now, so you might get to see how Chakram interacts with wallers. In fact, you can see it. Oh no, I'm on the right side of that wall anyway. Okay, let's go down to 4th level. This is fairly deep, and we're in West March. Cool. Don't have much to go, so we probably won't see much of this area. But yeah, I think I ended up getting, I think, 5 ancient items, 3 of which I was able to equip, 1 of which I equipped on my follower, 1 of which is in my inventory, in my stash, because I had no use for it but didn't want to get rid of it, primarily. It was actually one that I think there was a point where I actually got an ancient item that was an upgrade for an ancient item I already got. I had really good luck with ancient item drops. So, I'm pretty happy about that, as you can imagine. And I'm kind of annoyed that it all happened when I wasn't actually recording anything. I would have liked to have been able to show you guys all the ancient item drops that I got. And of course that was all done solo. In fact, the first couple dropped on Torment 4, and those are actually the first ancient item drops I've seen since the 2.1.2 patch too. So, I'm really, really happy about that, guys. Really happy. And as you can see, I'm doing a lot more damage than I was yesterday, or what would have been yesterday to do, but what would have been yesterday for you guys, but what was actually Friday for me. So I'm concentrating on the game, and trying to talk at the same time, and we got a Saxtrus. Okay. And there we go. Mad Chakram damage. Let's buff that damage. Let's mark death in. Spend all our hatred and drop chakrams like they're going out of style. Ah! Gotta keep an eye out for those tornadoes because they do a lot of damage. Especially when there's 3 of them coming together around you. Wow. See, this is where Volt is really good, being able to just quickly move out. And of course, while you're moving with Volt, you actually can't be attacked as well, so you have that as a big advantage when you're using Volt. I think I've attracted some extra enemies here. Saxtrus actually spawns enemies as well, but I appear to have attracted some extras on top of that, so just have to be aware of that. Nearly done. Of course, being Torment 6, enemies have a lot more hit points, if nothing else. They do more damage as well, but primarily they have a lot more hit points, so you end up fighting them for longer. I think Saxtrus had about 4.3 billion health, so we didn't get anything particularly exciting out of all of that, but I do have a legendary that I will identify before I finish the video, so let's open that up. That looks vaguely like it might be a Leoric's crown. So, and I am right. Not an ancient Leoric's crown, and probably not something I'm going to equip, so we'll see how we go. That's actually a pretty nice roll for a Leoric's crown, now that I think about it. Anyway, that's today's Daily Rift, and I will be back tomorrow with another one.